A ghost!
To demonstrate the incredible sticking power of new instant mix Solvite, we've devised a little test. Morning, George. But first, let me introduce you to the judges. Yesterday, using new Solvite, we pasted these overalls to this board. Today, Solvite's current general manager, Terry Edwards, has more than his job hanging on the outcome. Let her go, George. New Solvite Instant Mix Wallpaper Adhesive. Smoother, quicker, and, as George will tell you, now even stronger.
Shell, making the most of motoring.
You can't isolate yourself or your family from life's sudden ups and downs. You can't avoid illness or accidents, but you can make sure that they're not disasters. That's where Health First comes in. It's part of a group providing private medical cover all over the world. It makes sure that if the time comes, you and yours have the best possible treatment at the earliest opportunity. And it probably costs less than you think. Health First lets you put your family's health before anything else, whatever life's ups and downs. Health First. Is there a better way to show you care?
Ladies and gentlemen, let's hear it for Easter Saturday night on Central, starting with The Price is Right at 7:45, hosted as always by Leslie Crowther. At 8:45, things are looking up for Clive James.
Natural accidents can rarely be avoided, but in Japan, they queue up to be splashed.
At 10 o'clock, Deborah Carr and Claire Bloom star in Anne and Debbie.
He was your husband. Debbie, he was your lover.
That's followed by The Big Match, bringing you coverage of the best of the day's action in the Football League. And it's just part of the best in entertainment for Easter Saturday on Central.
Take a fresh look at your cooking and try White Flora. It's made with sunflower oil, so it's high in polyunsaturates. White Flora for today's kind of cooking.
To all beef patties, special sauce, lettuce, cheese, pickles, onions on a sesame seed bun. To all beef patties, special sauce, lettuce, cheese, pickles, onions on a sesame seed bun. To all beef patties, special sauce, lettuce, cheese, pickles, onions on a sesame seed bun. At McDonald's, it's Big Mac time for you.
Now look what you've done. Hold on, I'll get him.
There aren't any sharks in here, are there?
No. Crocodiles ate all the sharks.
Australians wouldn't give a Castlemaine 4X for anything else.
That's followed by the Big Match, bringing you coverage of the best of the day's action in the Football League. And it's just part of the best in entertainment for Easter Saturday on Central. Ladies and gentlemen, let's hear it for Easter Saturday night on Central, starting with The Price is Right at 7:45, hosted as always by Leslie Crowther. At 8:45, things are looking up for Clive James.
Australians wouldn't give a Castlemaine 4X for anything else.
To get the best value from your washing powder, you ought to become a weight watcher. For example, these 3 big value packs look about the same until you watch the weights. 4.65, 4.65, 6.2 kilograms. Illuminating, isn't it? Because this big value pack of new system Persil Automatic contains exactly 1/3 more powder. So next time you weigh up different prices, make sure you watch the weights.
The wireless invented by Marconi, manufactured by Philips.
Is the absolutely marvellous compact cassette invented by Philips. Is that
And Philips come up with this thing called compact disc. Sounds amazing.
Now here's a real breakthrough. A complete compact disc system with gramophone, a stereo wireless, twin cassettes and compact disc. For around £330. The FCD 562. Another sensation from Philips.
Following the news at 10:15, the music of America's Elliot Carter. At 11:15, the late movie with Richard Crenna in Nightmare. This is Central.
Gaddafi tells his people, Reagan lied, we drove the Americans out. No clues in the missing girl hunt, police fear an abduction. And a 3-month-old boy is doing fine on his new heart pacemaker. Good evening. Libya's leader, Colonel Gaddafi, tonight called America the biggest liar in the world as he gave his first full account of the clashes between Libya and the United States in the Mediterranean. He said he'd humiliated President Reagan and called on him to admit that 3 U.S. fighter planes and their 6 crewmen were shot down during the confrontation with the Libyans in the Gulf of Sirte. He says the American Navy did not cross his line of death and their air attacks did not damage Libya's missile station in Sirte. Earlier, Libya said everything American is now a military target.
Colonel Gaddafi emerged on a balcony outside his military headquarters in Tripoli this evening to lead celebrations into what is being presented here as a military victory. Gaddafi said that Libya had resisted American provocation. We defended ourselves and we drove them out, he declared. The Libyans are today celebrating the departure in 1970 of the last British troops from their territory, and Colonel Gaddafi vowed that the Americans would be repulsed as the British had before them. He accused President Reagan, an actor who wants to rule the world, of lying about US successes during clashes in the Gulf of Sirte. He repeated claims that 3 American aircraft had been destroyed. No Libyan radar had been damaged, and he said an American missile which failed to explode had been handed to the Russians. But for all Colonel Gaddafi's fiery rhetoric tonight, there were no direct threats, no repetition of earlier warnings that suicide squads would be sent to attack American targets. The events of recent days have been used to stir renewed anti-American feeling within Libya, an outburst of emotion against an external threat which the nation's leader is adept at using to consolidate his own position within the country. Tim Hewitt, ITN, Tripoli.
A major police search for the 10-year-old Yorkshire girl who disappeared on Wednesday has been called off for the night and will start again at first light.
The volunteer search parties crowded into a school playground as the hunt for missing Sarah intensified. They began working in teams under police supervision, concern for the girl's safety growing by the hour. The failure to find her has not been for the want of trying. Members of the public spent the whole day combing hundreds of acres of ground. CB enthusiasts helped coordinate the hunt. Everyone in the community deeply shocked by the disappearance of the girl who helps others through the Salvation Army.
Very happy, very bright, intelligent young girl with a lot of common sense. And instead of our usual meeting, we had a prayer meeting last night for Sarah and for her members of her family.
Near the girl's home, the inquiry team was trying to piece together her last known movements. She vanished after buying a loaf of bread from the corner shop 200 yards from home. It appears she was taken soon after leaving the store. Not a trace of Sarah has so far been found, and there have been no reported sightings. The search area is vast, the task of finding her immense. Her family can only wait and hope.
Hope people, if they see anything at all, even if it's a false alarm, will they please come forward. If it's clothes that don't even belong to Sarah, if they come forward, every little bit helps, just help them.
After a fruitless day, the weary volunteers said they'd return tomorrow. Brent Sadler, ITN, Leeds.
A 3-month-old Birmingham boy is bouncing back to life tonight after a successful operation to give him a heart pacemaker. Tiny Mark Clark weighed just 6 pounds and his heartbeat had slowed to less than half the normal rate as he waited for doctors to find a pacemaker small enough for him. West Germany finally came up with one about the size of a 50-pence piece. 3 climbers have been killed on holiday weekend expeditions to the Scottish mountains. One was a woman from the London area who was swept away by an avalanche near Torridon in Wester Ross. Her 2 companions escaped with broken bones and are recovering in hospital. The other 2 were killed in the Loch Nagar region of the Grampian Mountains. And in Blackburn, in Lancashire, a 10-year-old girl was crushed to death by a boulder as she played with friends in a disused quarry. Nearly 300 women anti-nuclear campaigners staged a sit-down demonstration at the giant Hinkley Point power station in Somerset today to protest at plans to build a 3rd nuclear station on the same site.
It was the biggest demonstration ever seen at Hinkley Point, which supplies 6% of Britain's electricity. Women from all over Britain converged on the site on the 7th anniversary of the accident at the 3 Mile Island nuclear power station in America. The women lay down on the road to try to stop workers leaving the plant. They were dragged away by police, but no one was arrested. The protesters say that Hinkley Point is nearly as dangerous as Sellafield, and that an accident here will make land in a 50-mile radius uninhabitable for 20 years. Tonight, the Central Electricity Generating Board said the claims were ridiculous. A spokesman said the women clearly did not belong to the real world. Peter Hayes, ITN, at Hinkley Point in Somerset.
Nicaragua's President Daniel Ortega says the U.S. Senate's decision to give $100 million to help the Contra rebels is tantamount to the crucifixion of Nicaragua. And he warned President Reagan that American troops in Honduras face being killed in the fighting.
In the war zone itself, the warring parties started to clarify their own stories. Nicaragua admitted for the first time that they had been in action against Contra camps on their border, losing 40 of their own troops and claiming to have killed over 300 Contras. As US pilots continued airlifting supplies and Honduran troops into the war zone, American officials are now admitting some exaggeration of their own version of events. They had justified the involvement of American airmen by claiming 1,500 Nicaraguans had gone into Honduras. Today, they've halved that figure to 800. At the same time, Honduras has started to deploy its troops between the Contra bases and the Nicaraguan border. They've also produced captured Nicaraguan weapons and some 5 bodies. Officials here say privately that what amounted to one of hundreds of border incidents between Nicaragua and the Honduran-based Contras had been emphasized by the Reagan administration to coincide with last night's Senate vote. What is in no doubt is that the profile of the conflict and the importance which Mr. Reagan attaches to it has been raised as never before. John Snow, ITN, Washington.
The Labour MP, Mr. Alf Dubbs, is to question Mrs. Thatcher about a report in today's Daily Mirror of an alleged conspiracy to kidnap and murder a journalist investigating extreme right-wing infiltration into the Conservative Party. Jerry Gable, publisher of Searchlight magazine, says Mrs. Thatcher was told that a Tory MP figured in a special branch probe that stopped the plot.
Jerry Gable is a journalist and television producer who spent the last 20 years investigating organised crime and political extremism for Fleet Street and television. He works under strict security. It was when an informant went to the Mirror that he learnt of the alleged plot to abduct and kill him. Mr. Gable also publishes an anti-fascist magazine called Searchlight, probing far-right infiltration of the Tory party. He believes that prompted the alleged plan.
I contacted Special Branch and they interviewed me at some length. And on the second occasion, it struck me that they actually had some knowledge of this matter. And they clearly, from their attitude, took the matter seriously.
Mr. Gable believes a security firm was to monitor his movements. He would then be abducted, taken to Berkshire and then a safe house in Dorset. He was to be interrogated about his investigations and finally he'd be killed. Once Special Branch cracked the plot, a report went to the Security Commission and thence to Mrs. Thatcher. Now Labour MP Alf Dubbs has tabled questions about the affair to the Prime Minister and the Attorney General.
The Prime Minister was very, very upset indeed that this plot should be going on. I don't know what she said to the MP concerned, or if she said anything at all to him, but indications I've had that it certainly met with her displeasure.
A teenage motor racing fan who was knocked over by a high-speed rally car is tonight stable in hospital with a broken leg and chest injuries. Swedish driver Kalle Grundl in a white Escort was on the second stage of the Ireland Rally in County Armagh when 15-year-old Malcolm Hoare appeared in the path of his car and was hit head-on. He was tossed high in the air before falling at the side of the road, and the helicopter filming the race flew him to hospital. A new cricket row has blown up between England and the West Indies over Graham Gooch's past playing links with South Africa. Gooch is unhappy at being the main target of anti-apartheid protesters and is threatening to boycott the 5th Test in Antigua in a fortnight's time.
Although Graham Gooch has served his 3-year ban for playing in South Africa, he's remained a major target of anti-apartheid campaigners here in the Caribbean. He seriously considered not coming on tour after Antigua's Deputy Prime Minister, Lester Bird, demanded an apology from Gooch over his South African connections. Now, Gooch says he's upset by further remarks made by Mr. Bird and has sent a request to Lords asking to come home before the 5th Test in Antigua in just over a fortnight's time. The cricket authorities in England and here in the West Indies are now seeking diplomatic assurances from Antigua in order to try and persuade Gooch to see out the tour. Jeremy Thompson, ITN Sport in Barbados.
Soccer. Arsenal have confirmed that manager Don Howe and chief coach John Cartwright are to leave immediately by mutual agreement. Steve Burtonshaw, Arsenal's chief scout, is caretaker manager for the rest of the season.
After 22 years with Arsenal, punctuated by jobs at West Bromwich and Leeds, Don Howe was heralded by the fans as the saviour of Highbury. Now, with rumours that despite that success in the league, he was soon to be replaced by former Queen's Park Rangers boss Terry Venables, now with Spain's Barcelona, Don Howe saw his future as anything but secure. Today, as the Arsenal board met behind closed doors, it was left to the club's chief scout, Steve Burtonshaw, to break the news and attempt to reassure Highbury's disheartened supporters that Arsenal can still reach the top.
Who knows what can happen if we have a go at it, get the points. It's not unrealistic to say that we do have a chance of winning the title.
So far, Venables has remained silent about any move, but Arsenal's fans are hoping for some good news before tomorrow's crunch game with North London rivals Tottenham Hotspur. Kim Sabido, ITN, North London.
Today's soccer results in Division 2, Oldham 3, Leeds 1, and Division 3, Cardiff 1, Plymouth 2. In Division 4, Cambridge 1, Rochdale 0, Colchester 1, Swindon 1, Halifax 3, Hartlepool 2, Scunthorpe 2, Stockport 3. And finally, Prince Edward has conjured up a way of stealing the royal limelight from his brother Andrew's wedding plans for a day. He becomes a magician's assistant to take part in a TVAM children's programme. Viewers of Monday's Wide Awake Club will see him help to saw actress Josephine Clark in 3. Afterwards, they both appeared none the worse for the experience. And that's the news tonight. Good night.
Saturday Night on Central starts at 5:35 this Easter weekend with a special feature-length episode of The A-Team.
You better step on it!
Then at 7:15, the many faces of Bobby Davro on the box. So start your Saturday night right on Central with a special edition of The A-Team and Bobby Davro on the box.
Good Friday on Central, and next tonight, the South Bank Show features the music of America's leading composer, Elliott Carter.
The moment you wake up on a Trusthouse Forte weekend break, you'll find your normal routine has changed. Everything from getting the breakfast to making the beds, from doing the shopping to watching the big match, and then planning what to have for dinner. Why not turn an ordinary weekend into something special? From only £24 a night each. For a free brochure, ring free phone Trusthouse Forte now and ask for room service.
Greetings, pop pickers. It's party time at ELS. That means hundreds of special offers just for you. And wait for it, 15 very special offers indeed, because ELS has sweet 15 this year. Like the Chatsworth three-piece suite, all yours for £599. This double bed, £139. Sweet dreams. The Villa Wall unit, £299. Happy birthday to you. Pop in over Easter and take your pick. All right, stay bright. ELS? Oh, yes.
Kathy.
What is it?
His old set's playing up. He bought it years ago. But he can't afford to change it.
Is renting a better idea than Heathcliff?
With radio rentals, yes. If one wants to stay abreast of new ideas like teletext and supersound, one simply changes one's set. Kathy.
Not now, darling. I've got a terrible headache.
Radio rentals. You'll be glued to our sets, not stuck with them.
Life was becoming a mite difficult. Until I happened upon Smith's Bacon Flavour Fries, a delicious new snack with the flavour of crispy bacon. Easily mistaken for bacon.
If you like the taste of fresh ground coffee, try this. New Master Blend Granules and Ground. Sealed inside the finest instant granules, there's real ground coffee. Held together, then released in the cup for a fresh ground coffee taste. Straight from a jar. There's no other instant like it. New Master Blend Granules and Ground. Fresh ground coffee in an instant.
Only the smallest, sweetest peas can join the Bird's Eye Country Club. Tough veg just don't get in.
Easter specials at new unit sales. Magic Oat Brilliant White Emulsion, 5 litres, £3.99. Branches at Coventry, Bedworth and Milton Keynes. Open Easter Monday, 9 till 6.
Today brought you the news in colour. Were you ready for today?
I was ready.
I was ready.
I wasn't ready.
Today, the first newspaper in colour 7 days a week. Order your Today today.
This is one party you shouldn't miss. There's a star-studded guest list, there's caviar, and of course there's champagne. And there's sparkling cyanide on your Easter Sunday menu at 7:45 on Central.
Now Melvin Bragg with the South Bank Show. This is Central.
On now, the Easter used car sales spectacular. Terrific choice, fantastic deals at TC Harrison, the name for motorists in Derby. Open all Easter.
Our new colour newspaper today is certainly making its mark. Except that is in one respect. Today is the newspaper that doesn't come off on your fingers. Today, the newspaper that's broken the mold.
A 1, a 2, a 1, 2, 3.
Nutribus with its are a bit stronger.
It doesn't fit properly. Let's drop the word new.
Trebor Spearmints are a bit stronger.
Let's lose spear.
Trebor mints are a bit stronger. We're spearmints! Nutribus with its are a bit stronger.
Nutribus mints are a minty bit stronger.
does it take to make the wheels of British industry turn? It takes energy. British Gas. Energy is our business.
Something told me he wasn't just train spotting. I knew what he was after. The secret diaries. I wanted a shower. He wanted the diaries. The deodorant stripes and shield would help me stay cool, confident, however shocking the secrets turned out to be. Some people just lead wasted lives. Shield keeps a body cool beautifully.
A deposit of just 10% will put you in the driving seat of a new 5-speed Skoda. Not surprisingly, the new popular Skoda has a lot going for it. Price, style, consistent reliability. For written details and a test drive, contact Rayfield Autos, Vicary Street, Coventry.